Yo, what's going on? It is 1 p.m. here in Crystal Lake, Illinois. It means it's time for another live stream. Today is Monday, November 3rd, 2025. That doesn't seem right. I'm looking at my watch, making sure that it is, in fact, November 3rd. And I'm just realizing now that my watch face doesn't have the date. It only has Monday on here. Oh, yeah. Okay, there it is. November 3rd. That's correct. It feels completely wrong. But Halloween was over the weekend. New York Marathon was over the weekend. It's now November 3rd. Tomorrow is a voting day for a lot of people, so don't forget to hit that ballot box if you are voting if there is voting going on in your jurisdiction tomorrow. But today, let's talk about New York. I didn't go. It was the first time I didn't go for a while, and I was pretty bummed about it all weekend. We could talk all about it. But first, before we get into stuff, and some of the package that I'll open today. Let's say hi to everyone listening on the audio-only version on the podcast. Maybe you're listening to this with your feet up in your recovery boots. Maybe you got them up against the wall, draining all the gross stuff out of your periphery because you ran the New York Marathon. Congratulations to you guys. And for everyone else watching this later but not live, welcome to the #1 drive time radio show for runners that is neither meant for drive time and it's not on the radio, but you're in the right place. All right. Let's see who we got in the chat. Herm says, missed you. I missed you too, bud. Yeah, I really missed everybody. But at the same time, like I can't have imagined if I had needed to travel this week, I think I would have had a breakdown. So it was good that I didn't go. I also enjoyed spending time with my family for Halloween stuff. That was nice. But when it was actually good for me in terms of my phone addiction because I just couldn't look at my phone because anytime I opened anything up, I would see Herm meeting up with people. And I was like, I want to be there. Or I'd see Tommy Runs doing something like at the Apple Watch event. And I was like, I wish I were there. I was supposed to be there, but I didn't go there. And so like, I just couldn't look at my phone because I was like, I'm missing it too much. So I had a hard time with it. I had a really hard time with it. I'm wondering if I'm going to have a harder time or an easier time at TRE, since I'm not going to TRE either. Let's see. Frank says, so now that Kipchoge is officially retired, I only have to get Ingebrigtsen runs a marathon to get bingo. Oh, really? Do we have him on there? Let me see. Where's my bingo card? I have not been keeping up to date on my bingo card, but I do have my bingo card over here somewhere. Where is it? Okay. Oh yeah. I think the bingo card just says Kipchoge on it real big, but I think that's what we meant, right? So yeah, Kipchoge did well. He said he wasn't retiring. He said he's just shifting focus, but I think it pretty much means he's retiring. You know, I think it means he's retiring. I think it means he still wants to get appearance fee money, but don't be mad at him if he's not hitting the podium. You know what I mean? Not that I think that's any different than what he's been doing for the past couple races, but yeah, he's moving on to another shift in his career. I also saw something, speaking of retirements of marathoners, I saw something about, did you guys see the news about like the treadmill championships? Which pretty much just seems like a treadmill company paid a lot of money for World Athletics to put on this event. To announce that they're putting on this event. Apparently, I don't think he's serious, but Mo Farah was like, I might hop back in on this one. I'm guessing that means if the money's right, I'll do it. But it also makes me think about like, it's been a few years since Salazar went away, and now we got Galen Rutt coming back. We've got Mo Farah threatening a return. Suguru came out of retirement, even though I don't think Suguru was actually coached by Salazar. I don't actually think that. I just think it's a coincidence. But I mean, if Jordan Hesse comes out of retirement soon, which I don't think she will, then I might start to wonder things. But anyway, just thought it was weird news. A weird news weekend. Not any news that wasn't New York Marathon related was really weird this weekend. Yeah. Let's see. Johnny Dodgen says, how about Patrick Dever finishing 4th at his debut marathon? He's from just down the road from me in Preston, UK. Yeah, it's pretty amazing. Um, I had been keeping an eye on him. I didn't watch the men's race. I only watched the women's race. And then once the women's race was over, I tried to flip over because I have YouTube TV, so I couldn't watch the feed on ESPN because YouTube TV and ESPN are fighting. And so I was watching it through the New York Roadrunners app, which I really enjoyed because there was no commercial breaks from the women's feed. So I got to see the exact moment when Helen Obiri made her move and shut the door on Sharon Lokedi. There was no response at all. It was amazing. Anyway, so then I tried to flip over to the men's feed, and it just wouldn't let me. I think it would like the app was just too overwhelmed. So I didn't get to really see the men's race, unfortunately. But yeah, I wish I could have seen more of that. Now he's been. Does he still live in the UK? I thought he was training with the group in South Carolina. I thought he was training with Alistair Craig's group. Am I wrong on that? I thought so. Because I thought like both him and Fiona O'Keefe were training partners. That's what I thought. Anyway. Vanessa Martinez wants to know if for Halloween did me and my family dress up. We did. Every year I try to get a family costume. And the girls are, I raised independent, free-thinking daughters, and they refuse to conform. And so we never really get a family costume together. Some years we get closer than others. My daughter wanted to be a group costume with her friends, and they were all like clowns, kind of like Suicide Squad clowns, So they were that. And then my younger daughter wanted to be a character from the Disney movies, the Zombies movie. And then my wife and I decided to be Super Mario Brothers, Yoshi and Princess Peach. And so that's what we were. It gave me an opportunity to wear my Hoka 10.9s, which was fun. I used that as my part of my costume. And no one asked me about them. No one. I was disappointed. I even went to a party that was hosted by one of the cross-country parents. They had a bunch of people over at their house. We normally don't get invited to things. I think it's one of those invites where we weren't supposed to say yes, and we just got invited. But anyway, we went. It was very generous of them to invite us, and we had fun. And but yeah, no one asked me about my shoes, so I was disappointed. All right, we got some race results to talk about here today. Chris E says, "Hi Kofuzi, just ran my first ever marathon at Auckland Marathon, 3:31 finish. Can I get a PR bell? Absolutely. Congratulations." Chris, are you the one that messaged me about that in the bandit hat? Is that you, Chris? Auckland Marathon sounds awesome. And Getting to Run says, "Yo, what's going on? Can I get a PR bell? PR'd my 50-mile time by 2 hours after 5 years of an injury. Congrats to all the NBC runners. Always looks like a blast." Congratulations, Mike. That's amazing. 2 hours. Whew. That's just incredible. All right. Raj Kumar is here. He says, "Howdy, Mr. Kofuzi. Enjoyed your Adidas Evo 1 and Evo 2 video. Because of this, I may not have a right shoe as I'm mostly a heel striker. I use Pro 3 for race and Evo SL for training. Should I try Pro 4 or Evo 2? I would lean towards the Pro 4 over the Evo 2. I think the Evo 2 is not bad in the heel. But I'd say the Pro 4 is probably going to suit you better. The Pro 4 is going to be closer to the Pro 3 than the Evo 2 is. So I think that's where I'd go. Jen Piazza says, "I ran my 10th New York City Marathon yesterday, and it was a 15-minute course PR of 3:36. Amazing." Jen says, "It was not a PR, but it was getting toasty in those last few miles." It always does, doesn't it? Even on a cool day, it gets warm at the end. Yeah. I was really envious of people that were out there. I hope you guys had a good time. All right. Shaheen says, the New York Roadrunners had no feed at the finishing line where men's finish winner was decided. So I think the thing with the feeds is that you're getting literally the feed from the moto cam. And the moto doesn't go to the finish line. It pulls off to the side so that it's not in the way of all the finish line photos. And so that's the limitation of it. Now, I'm like, it's 2025. We're using an app. We should be able to pick our feeds ourselves. We should be able to be our own TV producers if we want, I think. Charge me extra, but let me do that, If there's a camera on the lead Americans, and then the camera, if it's an American race, if it's like a Japanese race, I'm sure there'd be a camera on the lead Japanese. But like I'm saying, like lead men, lead women, lead whatever country men, lead whatever country women. And then if you want me to go to the booth, like whatever's happening in the booth, like give me 5 options and let me pick. Let me put 2x2, 3 on the screen. Like I feel like it's 2025. Why can't we do that? I don't know why we can't do that, but I would love it. Colin says the New York Roadrunning app decided to take an extended nap and I had to change the mobile site and re-add all my track friends. I had to do that last year. The app stopped working, and I was talking to a lot of people, and they were like, the only thing that works is to delete the app, reinstall it, and then add all your people that you're tracking. The problem is I was tracking like 14, 15 people, and I was like, I'm not going to remember everyone. So my recommendation for a lot of people is just like, for your people, hopefully you know about what they're trying to run, and then look to see what pace group is running through, and then eyes up. You'll see way more people with eyes up than you will looking down at the tracker, as my general opinion on things. Yeah. All right, Johnny Dudgeon says, Patty Devers does live in the U.S. now, but still claiming, as you should, as I absolutely should. Yeah. It's funny every time I talk to a British person, they're very proud of Patty Dever. It's the only time I ever have a conversation about that guy. Race Day Running says, are you tempted by the Meta Vanguard sunglasses for Valencia? Not really, because I'm going to bring my own camera anyway. I've been running in it. I've done a workout in them, and they stayed on my face for a tough workout. And so I was impressed by that. And I ran a longer, easy run in them as well. And, of course, they stayed on my face for that too. But, like, I don't think it's really giving me much extra other than what I'm already getting by bringing my camera on a selfie stick, and so for me, I don't think that there's much that bonus that I get from it, and it's heavy, so that's what I don't like about it. Oh, Chris says it wasn't him with the someone else post sent me. So Chris, you ran the Auckland Marathon. Someone else sent me a selfie of themselves with an Auckland Marathon medal. Was that? I thought you were wearing. I don't know. Maybe it wasn't you. I don't know. How many people would I know who ran the Auckland Marathon? That's the thing. That's why it's so strange. Juliana VB says, happy Monday. I'm recovering from cheering at the New York Marathon. That was intense. I think I'd rather run it. I would rather cheer it anytime. Cheering for that race is so much fun because it goes all day, right? For me, I spend the morning chasing the pros. Then, because I have no access to like athletes, in terms of post race, I just immediately head out onto the course and then I see most of my friends. And then after most of my friends come through, then I'll go home, recharge batteries, literally clear off my footage to make space on my cameras, SD cards, and then I'll head back, get some dinner, and then I'll head back out and go to the final finishers. That's a full day of cheering that I absolutely love. It's so much fun. I don't know. Maybe I'll go next year. I don't know. Mark Meyer's been taking it easy since Chicago. When I sent easy 5 miles yesterday, forgot how great this weather is. Hardest part is just getting out the door, but got to remember that this winter. Yeah, guys, this is the best running weather right now. In a little bit, it's going to start getting very windy, right? So like now it's still cool enough. It can be shorts and a t-shirt weather, shorts and long sleeve weather. Yesterday I did long sleeve and gloves. Hands were a little warm, but ultimately I was fine for an easy run. This is the best weather right now. Enjoy it. Get out there while you can. Unless you just ran the New York Marathon, in which case, go for a walk, you know. All right, Race Day Running says, you were talking about doing an English cross country race on Threads. It'd be awesome to see you do that. Yeah, so Marcus and I have been talking about like I think that we need to do for Relay like a podcast on like explain to me an American what is cross country as you understand it. And so I was thinking about that, and that's why I was thinking about that the other day. Because I keep hearing people saying like, oh, it's cross country season and World Cross is coming soon, right? And so that's like a winter event for a lot of the world, whereas in the United States, that's not possible, weather-wise. And so I was like, well, that would be kind of fun to like go, and I'd love to be embedded and do like live for like however long the season is, live in the UK. I don't think I could swing that from a home perspective. I think my family would be pretty upset with me if I tried to do that. I don't even know how long the season is, but I'd love to do like, I don't know, whenever people get grumpy at me about when I say like a course was muddy and they're like, that's not muddy. You should see some of our English cross country races. Like I just want to do one of those. And so, in that spirit, I did sign up for a cross country race in the United States, next week, not this weekend, but next weekend. It's I want to say, is it an 8K maybe? Yeah, I want to say it's an 8K. It's in the woods. There's a river crossing or a creek crossing, and you go over it twice. And so I don't even know what shoes to bring for that one, to be honest. Probably gonna run it in trail shoes, but it's they say it's supposed to be muddy and cold. So I want to explore that a little bit more. That's one of the stories that I would like to explore. And one of those things where, as I've been talking about with you guys, probably ad nauseum at this point, where I want to talk about like, let's talk about some new stories, some new facets of running, rather than just like, here's this major again. Not that they aren't great. I've been spending the whole time today talking about how great New York is. But I think that would open up the ability for me to do that. So those are the kinds of things that I'm thinking about. Shaheen says, do you have any shakeout for Valencia? Also, what's going on with Clayton Young? It seems he's going through some sort of an injury, so not sure he's still in for Valencia. I don't know. I haven't talked to him, so I don't know. He was in New York this time, I think, again. So I don't know that he's injured. I haven't heard anything. Nothing's popped up on his socials. So my understanding, he's still in for Valencia. I don't have a shakeout planned. Should I, because I think Kira D'Amato's going, should I just hit him up and be like, hey, you guys want to go for a run? I guess I could shoot my shot and be like, hey, you guys want to do a shakeout? But I think, I don't know, Shane, are you going to be there? A couple of people have messaged me about it, and I just think that I'm going to be like, hey guys, let's go run through that park. There's that park that everyone runs through. But I also feel like, isn't there like an organized run through that park the day before? Like, should we go somewhere else? Someone needs to, maybe you can message me on Instagram, and we could think about some routes, about what to do. Cause I'll need to do some sort of shakeout, Saturday morning. So I'd like to do it with you guys, for whoever is going to be in Valencia. I just don't want to, like, I think Ben Parks is also doing a shakeout run. I don't want to crash his party. I also don't want to compete with his. So like, we'll do it. I got to figure out like what other time. I got to figure out what, and I haven't looked at any of this, of course, yet. So I got to figure out what time Ben's is going to be. I got to figure out what time in like the races shakeout thing is going to be. Maybe we'll just do the races. I don't know. Do I have to pay for that? I've done very little thinking about it. I am Phil 2406 says, "Hey, Co, are you going to Cardiff next year?" I entered the ballot and I was rejected. So my only hope would be if I do Cardiff, it would be if I go with sports tours. Um, so we'll have to see where that ends up. Um, I was originally planning with going with sports tours to Cape Town for the marathon next year, but now that it's only going to be a provisional star, I don't want to go. So we'll have to see if they really want me to go anyway. Maybe I will, but I'd prefer not to. So that kind of throws a lot of my scheduling for next year out of whack. So I don't know exactly what's going to happen. Adam says, "How much do you think socks affect the feel and fit of a shoe?" I think it affects it a lot. I think that for a lot of shoes where I feel like I could go up or down a size, if I'm wearing too thick of a sock, I can definitely feel a different. That's when I'm like, I definitely feel like I need to size up or size down. But I think it can pretty significantly if a shoe is borderline. If the shoe kind of fits well, then it doesn't matter to me all that much. With some of my winter socks, they get a little bit thicker, and it does feel a bit more snug in the foot. But then again, in the wintertime, it's really cold out. Things there's shrinkage when it's cold, and so my foot doesn't mind as much if there's more sock in the shoe. All right, Race Day Running says the English cross country season is 6 months with one race a month. Oh, okay. I thought it was like a November to January kind of thing. So I need to figure something. I need to figure that out then. Some people did message me and were like, "Hey, our running club could help you with like a not visitors pass, but something along those lines. If you just want to participate in a single race. So maybe I'll do that." And I don't know. I'm guessing like there are different races in different regions. So I was thinking like if I needed to really condense it, here's how the planning I think would be is like, like go up or down the country, trying to find like a race a weekend, and try to experience it throughout the island, throughout the month of like November, for example. So that's kind of what I was thinking. All right, Adam says, "For my race next week, bring several shoes and decide after warm up on the course. That's what I'm doing for a cross country race this Saturday. I'm not familiar with the course." That's really good advice. And that actually would not have occurred to me. So I'm definitely going to take that advice. I was also debating maybe I'll go out there. It's not close. It's like 45 minutes from me for driving. So I was debating whether or not to go out there and try to run the route a couple times over the weekend, like this weekend. But my daughter has a rock climbing competition, and I think my wife's going to make me volunteer to help out at the competition. So I don't know how much time I'm going to have. All right. Javier says he's from Valencia, and he says, "Don't eat paella at night." Is it why shouldn't I eat paella at night? You have to explain that to me. I don't understand why. Because I love a paella. It's really good. But why wouldn't I eat it at night? Is it because I won't digest well, or is it like bad luck or something? I don't know. Wilson Daniel says, "Hey, Co, I just ran my first marathon yesterday in Springfield, Missouri, 4:39. Felt great. Ran generally negative splits. Love your stuff." Well, congratulations on the first marathon. That's super cool. Super cool. Okay. Let's see. Okay. Norman Simon has a question, and then we'll get to some packages. Norman says, "What's your take on pros running in prototypes that may not see the light of day?" I think that's fine. I think it's a great way to develop product. I think it's unusual when they do it in marathons because it's such a long race and such a big test. I'm also a little bit confused as to um, Connor Mance's use of a prototype shoe, even though it was World Athletics like approved, like he submitted it for approval and it fits within the rules, but it's not available for sale, and it was for an American record. I thought that that was not allowed, frankly. My understanding was I thought for record attempts, the rules had to be more like for the Olympics, which have a separate set of rules where shoes have to be available for sale, reasonably available for sale, for them to be able to be used in the Olympics, unless I'm understanding the rules wrong. So, I mean, as long as they're following the rules, I'm fine with it. Um, if the prototype never, I don't have a problem with it because I feel like pros are that different from us, right? To me, frankly, I think it's kind of weird and very arbitrary that like there is this rule of like it needs to be available for sale. I think there's a financial incentive to make it available for sale because we all want to run in what the pros ran in, right? But I also feel like they're also pros. They are different than us. And I think they should be allowed to have different shoes. In the same way that stock car racing in the United States isn't exactly a stock car, right? It's not what you get at the Toyota parking lot or like the Toyota dealership when you're buying a Camry. You know what I mean? But it's still called stock car racing, right? I feel like to the extent that pros have to run in like available for purchase shoes, they should have the same kind of like leeways. But I don't know. Maybe I have I guess I have maybe I have an idiosyncratic view on it, but I just think it's kind of weird. Anyway. Cosmopine Michael says that On Cloud try still hasn't been released and didn't Obiri win New York City in it in 2023? I think that every shoe that Helen Obiri has won a race in never actually made it to production. I mean, I guess she has run in the Cloud Broom Strike light spray, right? That's available and out. But there was another shoe that she won a race in that was not the On Cloud try. It was something else that also never got released. So like, I think the rule there is just it's not like it has to eventually be released, otherwise retroactively it doesn't count. It just there's like a one rule limitation on prototypes. Like you can't keep using the same prototype for more than a year. I guess you just have to change it a little bit and call it another prototype. I don't know. Matthias says absolutely. The pros should be allowed to wear different shoes. The pros should have different specs. I agree. As long as like there still need to be rules on it, I guess, at some level. But like I don't think the rule that like it has to be available for purchase. Like I don't really understand that rule. You know, it doesn't make a ton of sense to me. I understand why they say it because then it's like, then someone like, we didn't talk about Joel Reichow. I know Mark was excited about him from the beginning, as well he should be. The dude did great. I'm going to try to see if he wants to get on an interview later. But like he's unsponsored, right? And so like if all the really good shoes never make it to market, then how does a guy like Joel get to be able to run in the really good shoes and really live up to his potential, you know? But at the same time, like if the shoe is that good, why wouldn't a brand want to develop it into a mass consumer product? You know, I don't know. Frank says, I find it annoying that we might not ever get to buy Kipchoge's shirt, for example, though. I don't know why we wouldn't. I thought it was supposed to come out in May. I think someone on the Cities Mag live stream watch party said that. I don't know. Chalky says it works that way in cycling. Don't know why, frankly. Adam said, what if the pros had to dig water and sports drink from the community tables and had to carry their own gels and such like the rest of us? If they did, we'd have so much better pockets. That's the one thing it would do. Um, yeah. Eh, yeah, I don't know. I I wouldn't be mad if there were a race that allowed that was like, nope, no personal bottles. You have to take it. But like some races don't hand you the cup, you know? So I feel like if that happened though, that like there you'd probably be allowed to bring your own cup giver. You know what I mean? Kind of like in Berlin where there's bottle claws. I feel like if they made that a rule, you'd be allowed to bring your own cup giver. Mark Peterson said, Joel. Yeah. So, Joel, how did he came in? He came in top American, which I was not expecting. I think this is Joel's second time running New York. I think last year was his first time running New York. Do you know, Mark? Um, and yeah, and he ran with his hair down again. And he has so much hair and it's so curly. And he ran a 209.56, coming in sixth overall, first American, um, which is amazing. And yeah, it was great. It was really cool to see that result. I was like, but when I saw that, I was like, wait, he's first American? What happened to everybody else? Hillary Bohr, who I thought was going to be first American, came in 12th. And he was third American. Joe Klecker came in as second American and 10th overall, running a 2:10.37. So a good day. And then I was disappointed that Bia Simbasa um, came in as, I guess, what is this, fifth American and 13th place, running a 2:10.53. That's 5 minute miles. 5 minute miles. Guys, can you imagine if you ran New York City Marathon at 5 minutes per mile on average? And some dude in his basement was like, I'm disappointed in how you did. Can you imagine that? Crazy. Crazy. HE wants to know who is the Solomon runner in the top 10 male? I don't know. Was it Sondren Norstad Moon? I have no idea. Charlie Hicks in his debut marathon came in seventh overall. What's better? Seventh overall sounds way better than second American, though, doesn't it? So, Adam says that Bohr and Bia were with the lead pack for a good while, and Joe was off the back early. I think Joe learned a lesson from Houston, and so I think he was much more measured. But I think that ultimately it was a good day. It was a good day for On. It was a good day for Laura Thweet, who's been coaching at On for a while now. She's boots on the ground for both Joe Klecker and Helen Obiri. So good day for her. Yeah, that makes sense if Bora and Bia went for it and their place reflects more of a, you took a big swing and it didn't work out rather than like, they came in, they shot for 15th and got 12th, kind of thing. Yeah, Mark agrees. He says, I think Bia went with the leaders a little too long and lost it in the last few miles. I mean, you got to take that big swing, I guess. And Martha said that Cabruto is the one who chatted with me in an elevator when I did Chicago in 2023. It was just him, his handler, and me in the elevator. Oh, that's fun. And then Frank says, oh no, AJ says the Solomon runner was the fifth guy. Matthias, I don't know how to say that. Keybers, never heard of him. I never heard of him either. Okay. So what are they running in? Right? So in Chicago, Maggie Montoya ran in an all white Solomon race shoe. I guess I could ask her, or I can ask a Solomon person. And I thought it was maybe an S-Lab Phantasm 2, maybe just an all white version, but I'm thinking it's probably a prototype. And then, did you guys watch the 5K? What do they call it?
it's something weird, like race to the finish. Like all races are to the finish. Like race to the finish 5K. It's not the USATF 5K championships anymore. It's USATF 5K. Annie Rodenfels put on a clinic on how to race a 5K in New York. Defended her crown. And she's a Solomon runner now. She used to be with BAA, I thought. And then now she's a Solomon runner. I don't know what shoe she ran in. And now this guy, Matthias Kiebers. Yeah. Cosmopolitan Michael says, dash to the finish. It's a dash to the finish. Which is so weird because aren't all races a dash to the finish? But also dash is a word that means something on the track, right? So I don't know. And Johnny says that white shoe that I'm talking about is a new Solomon road shoe. Courtney Dahlwalter had it on at Twin Cities Marathon too. All right, I'm gonna have to email somebody at Solomon, figure something out. Okay. Cosmopolitan says the women's 5K finish was great. Yeah, it was that 5K race was amazing. And that's one of my highlight moments of the entire weekend every year, and it boggles my mind that more people don't watch it. I guess people are running the 5K, so that's why a lot of people don't do it. But I always schedule my shakeout runs in New York, so that way I can go watch that race first. And I usually watch it with Kurt, which I couldn't do this year. So we were messaging each other while he was watching. He's on the sidelines watching the race, but that race was amazing. And at the end, it was like, oh, I don't know. And I was like, there was Annie, Winey, Elle, and Parker. I mean, Winey Claudia has won it as well, so she knows how to run this race. But it was like Elle St. Pierre and Parker Valby were starting to pull away. And they had looked like they had dropped Annie Rodenfels. But I was watching it, and I was like, oh, man, is she vulnerable this time? But it looked like they had pulled away, but they weren't creating any space. And so I was like, oh, she's waiting. She is waiting. And then the moment that I like typed that out into like the live stream chat for the 5K, which was live streamed on the New York Roadrunners YouTube channel, even though the regular race couldn't be. The moment I typed that out, then all of a sudden she turned it on and she took off, and it was amazing. It's great. It's great. I've seen her run it, the BAA 5K as well, and she's scary. She's very scary. I don't know if I had to race against. Not that I could race against her, but like I don't know. Like if she's on the starting line, you got to keep an eye on her every time. All right, everyone wants to get to the box. All right. First thing I want to do is let's do this one because I meant to get to this one last time, but then I couldn't get to it. This is from Topo. They sent it to me a while ago. I just didn't have a chance to get to it. But it did come in after that Mizuno box came in, so I'm kind of opening things in order. But this is the Toppo Atmos 2, which, oh man, I really enjoyed Toppo Atmos 1, and I've been running in the More version 6. And I just filmed my review of it. And one of the alternatives I suggested was the Bondi 9. But now I'm wondering, do I pocket that review for a little bit and run in this shoe real quick first? I'd rather get that video out tomorrow, so I'm probably not going to do that. But let's take a look at this guy. It looks better than it did last year. Here we go. The Atmos 2 using zip foam and has a 5mm drop, like all Topo shoes. Got a nice wide toe box and a wide platform. This rubber, there is a thick layer of rubber on the bottom here. There's a lot of rubber here. And it's tacky. I can feel it. The zip foam feels softer this year. And so far, based on what I'm feeling, using a Charmin test. But last year, it felt like a lot of the softness that I did enjoy from the shoe came from the insole. This insole is like, it's an Ortholite insole. but I've never seen one like this that has so much stuff going on the bottom. It's super thin though. So I'm guessing this year they're relying more on the zip foam for the comfort than they are on the Ortholite. But yeah, I really enjoyed this one last year. I'm looking forward to testing it this year. I ran 77 miles last week. So like the more version 6 coming in this week, this one coming in, definitely really good timing for me. It just smells like new shoes, like new clothes. Not a bad smell. Very mild. Nothing crazy. A lot of padding up here. I don't like this tongue. It looks really goofy. Has like a LA Gear kind of feel to it. Hopefully it'll sit nicely when I'm actually wearing it. And there's a decent amount of padding through here. And a pretty stiff heel counter in the back. Doesn't go too high, but it's definitely here. Let's see. You guys do not like the navy color. Sean says, yeah, navy is kind of an awful color for a running shoe. AJ says that navy blue shoes are old man, bald head emoji. And Sean wants to know, what's the weight on this one? All right. Let's get the scale out. And I'm afraid I messed up and I don't have my shoe sheets ready to show you guys right away. We'll start pulling that up. Shoe sheet. Let's add it. Share screen. Shoe sheet. Okay, there we go. I need to get rid of all the highlighting and scroll to the bottom. All right, we got a Toppo Atmos 2. Okay. Just want to make sure there's nothing inside there. There isn't. Oh, I like this. Colin says, I'm less familiar with Topo. Is this a daily trainer? My wife needs a wide toe box but doesn't want an ultra. Yeah, so this is a daily trainer, but it's more in their max cushion category. Their daily trainer is the Phantom, I want to say. But I also want to say that like the Phantom is kind of like, I think they experimented with the Atmos first in providing like a little bit of a softer experience than they normally provide. I feel like a lot of the earlier Topo shoes were very, very firm. But the 5mm drop, I think, is really nice. Some people can't run in ultras because of the 0 drop. So I feel like 5mm is a very nice alternative, and it's very wide in the toe box. And so the weight for this one is 10.0 ounces and 284 grams. So really good for a max cushion shoe. Let's see where that puts it in terms of weights. 10 ounces. It's the same weight as the Vomero Plus. And this is going to fit a lot of people way better than a Vomero Plus. So, yeah. So far, so good. Good job, Topo. The upper, it's a dual layer mesh. Nothing crazy. Everything's pretty straightforward on this one. They don't gusset their tongues, I don't think, at all on any of their shoes, do they? But they have this little thing here, like these little lace loops. See those red, orange things? That keep things kind of like locked in so that the tongue doesn't go anywhere. So that's what they do. All right. Okay. Sean says, I love the Spectre 2, but would like another Topo shoe that's a bit more firm sometime. The Phantom might be it. Yeah, the Spectre is more like their long run shoe. They don't have a carbon plated shoe. As far as I know. But yeah. But the Spectre 2 is a beaded PIBA, right? It's beaded PIBA. And it's a taller stack height shoe. And if you want something that's more firm, I don't know. I think I'd probably look at the Atmos, but I do have the Phantom here. They sent it to me a long time ago, but I've like been unexcited about it, so I've been kind of holding off. Two shoes that have been on my to-do list for the longest amount of time: Cumulus 27 and that Topo Phantom, whatever number they're on. Is it the Phantom? Whatever the Daily Trainer is. Those are shoes that I'm like, I know I need to try them, but I have a feeling I'm not going to like them, and I'm having a hard time getting myself to try them. Colin says, get out of here with the LA Gear slander. Yeah. Ibrahim Hussein says, when are we getting a winter gear video? I probably not. I think that if you follow me on Instagram, you'll see like what I'm wearing as far as winter gear, but you'll see it when we're in winter. I'm not to the point yet where like, I guess I'm not reviewing enough apparel where brands are sending me a ton of apparel early such that I can then take it and do a bunch of winter testing. So like for me to be able to do winter testing, I have to go somewhere where it's winter now, where I don't know where that is. Is it cold enough in say like Alaska yet? I'd have to be running up there. I don't know. Maybe if I go to like southern Chile, would it be winter in the right time for me to do that? I don't know. But I feel like there's a lot of places in the hemisphere that are not south enough, even in their winters, to be cold enough for me to do a real winter test of stuff. And I don't really want to disappear for a month to do winter clothes testing. Nor would it be financially feasible for me to do that. So that's the hard thing, is I don't have a way of doing real winter apparel testing in time for you to buy stuff at winter, because all of you have to buy at the beginning of winter, kind of. So, but you could see what I'm wearing in my reels, I guess, as the winter goes, to see what I'm enjoying. But every year it's pretty much the same things. I really like craft in the wintertime. I like gore wear stuff. I run in a lot of the bandit stuff, a lot of rabbit. That's a lot of what I'm wearing. CLA makes wonderful stuff. They just don't make enough things. Yeah, that's kind of like the main ones that I'm tending to run in. Andrew Scott says, testing winter gear sounds awful. It sounds lovely to me because I love winter running. It's just even though it does get cold early here, we're pretty much on the Wisconsin border. We are on the Wisconsin border. It still doesn't get that cold. Although I was just thinking, last year for the turkey trot my daughter and I did, which that's like in 3 weeks. Last year the temperature was like 14 degrees Fahrenheit. So I guess it does get cold pretty early, you know. All right, last package from today. This one, and I'm gonna open up my email real quick so I can make sure I have it. This one is from Knack, which I think if you are in, where is it? That's not what I want. Is it from? Yeah, Knack. Where is that other one? I had asked this brand to send me, if they were going to send me stuff, to send an allergen statement. Oh, okay, here we go. Yeah, here it is. Okay, so I wanted to make sure I have that because I went to the trouble of asking for it. Sorry for the delay there. All right. Ogazi says, while I'm opening this up, how would you summarize the Mora V6 in a few words? It's a max cushion shoe. The video should be up tomorrow, hopefully. If you need anything sooner than that, that is more than those few words. I have a reel about it that I made. I think it's the most recent one where I have more than a few words. And then if you want the video, it'll be up tomorrow, hopefully. Okay. So let's see what we got here from Knack. If you guys are in the trail space, you are already familiar with this brand because Jeff Pelletier has been working with them. And I think they've been very heavily investing in trails, which makes sense because their logo is a mountain. But this is it. I think I'm saying it right. Naak, N-A with 2 dots, umlaut. Is that right? AK. It's a gel. So they gave me some gels here, 25 grams of carbs and electrolytes. Potassium, calcium, and no iron, but potassium and calcium. There's some sodium in this one though, which I do appreciate. So they sent 3 of those, and they sent me a couple of these drink mix. Boisson d'effort. Effort drink. Is that what that means in French? Effort drink. Which I like better than that doesn't translate to drink mix, but it's better than like sport drink or like energy drink, right? Yeah, Jeffrey Watkins says, time got away from me. Did we already complain about the New York Roadrunner app? We did a little bit. Probably not enough. It probably deserves more complaining, but we did. But we didn't. We did complain about it a little bit. Eric says the Knack stuff sits well in the stomach. All right. Should we try some of this right now? Positive Pinnacle Michael says has been at cycling races he went to in Quebec. Oh, cool. The drink mix is 60 grams of carbs, 400 milligrams of electrolytes. It's got potassium and calcium. No calcium. Potassium. Yeah, it's calcium. And I don't know what the other electrolytes are. But 263 milligrams of salt. That's a nice amount of salt in here. Let's try the gel. I'm thirsty though. Should we try? I feel like mixing up a 60-gram drink mix for a taste test seems like maybe not ideal. It says you're supposed to 1 serving for every 60 minutes with 500 mils of water. I've got like 360 mils here. That's not going to be great. Should we try it anyway? We'll try it. And then maybe I'll eat a gel depending on how much I do or don't like this. I've heard mixed reviews on the flavor of this stuff. It doesn't even say what flavor it is. Unless I'm missing it somewhere, but while I'm shaking this up, Adam wants to know, what are your thoughts on non-shoe brands getting into the running shoe game? For example, Tier, Tracksmith, Craft, from a business angle. Seems the dev costs are extremely steep. Yeah, I have a feeling that the margins on shoes are really, really good. And I think that's why a lot of these apparel brands, where margins are not good, I think that's where the apparel brands are wanting to expand into shoes. Now, with Tracksmith, Matt Taylor has said that like he's always wanted Tracksmith to be like have a shoe from the beginning, and I'll take that at face value. You know, I have no position to be like, oh, that's an interesting story, or I do or don't believe it. But that's what he has said. Tier has been making shoes for a long time, mainly weightlifting shoes, as far as I know, and they've been making running shoes for a while. But they've been, as far as my relationship with them as a brand has been, they're a swimming company. But like Rabbit is another one. Craft is another one where they've been making shoes for much longer, it seems. They just haven't been in the United States for a very long time. But generally my thoughts on apparel brands getting into shoes is I don't like it usually, because of the fact that of the apparel brands that I like, one of the things that I like about them is that they are not affiliated with a shoe brand. And so I can wear the apparel that I like, that works for me, no matter what shoe I happen to be wearing, no matter what review I'm preparing to put together. And so, whenever that company then starts making their own shoes, then it makes it a little bit harder for me to wear Craft, for example. Craft and Tracksmith were probably the most annoying ones because I used to wear a ton of Tracksmith, but now it's like now they make shoes and they're technically a competitor, and I don't like to mix brands when I'm or put competing brands in the same review video. I don't want to unintentionally send some sort of mixed message about how I do or don't feel about a product. Because if I were, say, we're like reviewing, an Adidas shoe and wearing Puma tights, and a Puma singlet, I don't want someone to read into that in some sort of way. So, for me, it's annoying because of that very unique, idiosyncratic difficulty it presents. But from a business perspective, I mean, if they're making money on it, great. Like, I feel like when I think about it from the example of like Lululemon or Alo, I don't know if that's how you pronounce it. Like, I feel like there might be people that like, I want to be outfitted head to toe. I love this store. I love everything in it. Give me a look. I only want, or maybe you have a shopper and you're blessed enough for that. And that shopper doesn't have time to be like, all right, hat, shirt, shorts, shoes. Boom, we're done. I'm out of here. Like, in that sense, like having the shoe is fine. But like, you think about how big the development teams are for certain products at some of the more established brands. And you're like, is this company really going to invest that much into this? Or is this just going to be like a shoe to have a shoe? So that way you can like add on this other thing that maybe not be as seasonal, that you could just have and sits in inventory for a while and you can move it whenever you feel like moving it and doesn't have to be so like seasonal, like to the extent that it helps spread out risk of seasonality to a brand. I think, all right, go ahead. Great. Make it. But like, like Rabbit makes shoes now, but I still wear Rabbit apparel when I'm reviewing other brands' shoes because I don't really think of them as a competitor. And to a large extent, I feel the same way about craft stuff too. All right, I'm going to try this Knack Boost Energy Boisson. That's a very mild flavor. I taste nothing almost. It kind of reminds me of like the naked flavors of a lot of sport drinks, like that Tailwind makes. It's nice. I could drink that all day. That's really nice. I like it. Johnny Dodgen says collabs are way better. For example, say Sky and Puma. I do like collabs a lot. But then the collabs sometimes become so enmeshed that it might as well be, like that brand might as well have just made their own shoe. And so like Say Sky and Puma is a great example. Like Say Sky has only collaborated with Puma. And so like if I'm wearing Say Sky, am I wearing Puma basically? And so can I wear Say Sky with a Adidas shoe? Probably not a problem, at least for under my own arbitrarily self-imposed rules. Yeah, I'd say probably. But then like at Bandit has done a lot of stuff with Asics, and so then that becomes, some of it is Asics branded and some of it is not. They've also come out with a collab shoe. And so then it's like, oh, that's a pretty shoe and all this collab gear is nice. There's certainly stuff that I would say falls in the category of like, well, you can't wear it with different brands, like the stuff that has an Asics logo and a Bandit logo on it. But how do I feel about just Bandit logo stuff? Could I wear that in a New Balance video? I could. I think so. But I think you have to be careful because then it's like, well, what about Endorphins or Pioneers, right? Endorphins has been working with New Balance for a really long time. I feel like Endorphins and New Balance, like if I were to wear the apparel, it's kind of the same to me. Same thing with Pioneers. I wouldn't wear, I guess I did the other day. Did I? No, I was about to, but I ended up not. I was going to film my New Balance video in a Pioneer shirt. And I did have to think about it. I was like, does this make sense? I'm not sure if it does or not. And so I do like collabs, but again, I feel like collabs, you still, at least for me, it still runs the same risk. But I think for the shoe brands, it works. And I think the shoe brands benefit more. Well, I don't know. I feel like the apparel brand gets to move a lot of product and they get like the kind of visibility, which I think is an order of magnitude bigger when you're associating with like an international footwear brand. I don't know. Maybe I've got my numbers wrong on this. Vanessa says, as a larger size runner, I wear what fits, what works, and what I can afford. Love the John G. Pace shorts. No thigh chafing. See, John G did make a collab shoe with La Sportiva, but I don't think anyone's like, oh, you're John G. You're basically wearing La Sportiva, you know. But John G is a brand that's nice because it's like, yeah, I could wear that with any brand that I'm wearing, and it doesn't feel out of place or mismatched, you know. Johnny says, what about Fruit of the Loom and Elegant? Was that a thing? I don't remember that. I'll have to go look that up. Andrew says, do any brands ask you specifically not to wear another brand in your video when reviewing their shoes? No one has ever asked me about anything about that. The only brand that has ever said like, I mean, when I go on trips, a lot of times like the PR people will be like, hey guys, just so you know, we're going to have photographers when we're going out on our group runs. So like, we're going to be providing you with a lot of gear. We'd love for you to wear that if that's comfortable for you. Otherwise we would request like non-logo or very small logo other stuff, which makes sense when you're on like a media trip. As far as when shoes come, you guys see how the shoes come. It's just shoes in a box. You know, there's no notes. They might email me a tech sheet. A lot of times I have to ask for it just so I could be like, what are you guys calling this foam? Zip foam? Is the zip foam different? Like, are you willing to go on record and say that it's different? A lot of times the tech sheet will say, you know, so that's why I get that. But other than that, I don't get much in terms of notes. I prefer it that way. I love it when I get shoes like from Mizuno the other day. 3 shoes in a box. No descriptions of how I should use it or what. Just here's the shoes. You tell us what you think about it. And I know they did that for like PR purposes, so it's mysterious. But I'd prefer to review a shoe cold and then look at the tech sheet, which is generally how I do it. But if you're doing paid stuff for a brand, they will say, hey, don't put these other brands in it. They will say that a lot. Lululemon. I never ended up taking the job. This would have been like 2019 maybe, so who knows if they're still that way. But like Lululemon did one and they were like, hey, when you're filming this and you're running, here's like tier 1 of definitely do not show these brands in this. And then tier 2 of like, if you could not show these brands, that would be great. So that's happened before. Herm says, now when you eat Lucia pizza, you have to wear Kraft. Yeah, you know, I'm glad that more brands are embracing the pizza pop-up, the pizza collab, pizza for the shakeout concept. Hoka did it recently in Chicago. Kraft did it with the pizza place. I thought it worked out great those years when we did it with Lou Malnati's and Asics in Chicago. Back when the runs were smaller, when there were like 300 people and we could feed that many people pizza. Those were great years. Those were my favorite ones. Not that I didn't enjoy this year's, but like ending at a pizza party. That's like my New Jersey dream come true. Like, what's better than a pizza party? By the way, I haven't been able to find a link for it, but Lou Malnati's has said that they will give out until November 16th, $10 coupons if you are affected by losing SNAP benefits. They'll give you $10 coupons if you go to Lou Malnati's. Just putting that out there. It's a good pizza place. Food's also good. So, D0 Aperture says, I still got my old A6 pizza shirt. I love that. Love the pizza runs. Those were the best, right? I don't know. I mean, Fleet Feet and A6 treated us really nice this year. They gave us that huge space to hang out in. Bing while coffee was there. It was awesome. And there was bagels. But like ending a run at deep dish pizza, I just feel like that's pretty awesome. I had a good time. Yeah. All right. That's gonna be it, guys. Oh, I'm running late. I was supposed to be on the relay call like 10 minutes ago. I probably missed it. I'm probably not gonna join. I'll see if I could just jump in. They're probably gonna be mad, but I'll jump in there. But I gotta get going. All right, guys. Tomorrow, New Balance video, and then I'll see you guys Thursday for another live stream. All right. In the meantime, recover well from New York. I'll see you guys soon. Bye.